Today we will be discussing about the esophagus. So the heading will be esophagus. Okay, the esophagus is a narrow muscular tube forming the food passage between the pharynx and the stomach. So esophagus is a food passage between pharynx and stomach, between pharynx and stomach. Okay, it extends from the lower part of the neck to the upper part of the abdomen. This is also very unspecific thing. The esophagus is about 25 centimeter long. The next important point about it is that it is 25 centimeter long. Esophagus is 25 centimeter long. The tube is flattened anterior-posteriorly and the lumen is kept collapsed. So it is flat anterior-posteriorly. Esophagus is flat anterior-posteriorly and the lumen is kept collapsed. It dilates only during the passage of food bolus. So the lumen remains collapsed and it dilates during passage of food. Okay, next, the pharyngoesophageal junction is the narrowest part of the alimentary canal except for the vermiform appendix. So the narrowest part is the pharyngoesophageal junction. The pharyngoesophageal junction is the narrowest part. The other narrowest part is vermiform appendix. These are the two narrowest part of the GIT. Next, the esophagus begins in the neck at the lower border of the cricoid cartilage, where it is continuous with the lower end of the pharynx. So the esophagus starts or originates at lower border of cricoid cartilage. Cricoid cartilage. So see, this is the thyroid cartilage. Below this is a ring shaped structure which is the cricoid cartilage. This is the cricoid cartilage. Okay, and from here the esophagus starts. And as we have seen that esophagus is fibromuscular. This is esophagus and it is fibromuscular. It is a fibromuscular structure. It descends in front of the vertebral column through the superior and posterior part of the mediastinum. So it descends anterior to vertebral column. It descends anterior to the vertebral column and it passes through the superior and posterior mediastinum. It passes through superior mediastinum and the posterior mediastinum. Passes the superior mediastinum and posterior mediastinum. Next, and pierces the diaphragm at the level of 10th thoracic vertebra. So this esophagus pierces the diaphragm at T10, that is 10th thoracic vertebra. The esophagus pierces the diaphragm at 10th thoracic vertebra. Okay, it descends from the vertebral column, pierces the diaphragm at the level of 10th thoracic vertebra. It ends by opening into the stomach at its cardiac end at the level of 11th thoracic vertebra. So it ends by opening into cardia of the stomach. And where is it ends? ends in the cardia of the stomach at T11, at the level of T11. So what is the extent of esophagus? From C6 to T11. From C6 to T11, this is the extent of esophagus. C6 to T11 is the extent of the esophagus. Now we are going to look at the curvatures of esophagus. So the heading is curvatures of esophagus. Okay, in general the esophagus is vertical but shows slight curvatures in the following direction. There are two side-to-side curvature, both towards the left. One is at the root of the neck and the other near the lower end. It also has antero-posterior curvatures that correspond to the curvatures of the cervicothoracic spine. So curvatures of esophagus are of two types. One is two side-to-side curvatures and one antero-posterior curvature. Two side-to-side curvature and one antero-posterior curvature. The two side-to-side curvatures both are on left side. Okay, one is at the root of the neck and the other near the lower end. So first is at root of neck. The second is at the lower end. Okay, the one antero-posterior curvature corresponds to cervicothoracic spine. One antero-posterior curvature corresponds to cervicothoracic spine. Coincides with the cervicothoracic spine. Now constrictions. Now we are going to look at the constrictions of esophagus. So constrictions of esophagus. Okay, normally the esophagus shows 4 constrictions at the following level. There are 4 constrictions of esophagus. Number 1, at its beginning, 15 cm from the incisor teeth. At its beginning, that is 15 cm from the incisor teeth. 15 cm from incisors. Okay, the second constriction is where it is crossed by the aortic arch. At crossing of aortic arch. Which is 22.5 cm from incisor teeth. Which is 22.5 cm from incisors. Is 22.5 cm from the incisors. The third constriction where it is crossed by the left bronchus. The third constriction is at the level of left bronchus. The level of left bronchus is 27.5 cm from the esophagus. 27.5 cm from incisors. As the left bronchus crosses the esophagus. The fourth constriction of esophagus is where it is pierces the diaphragm 37.5 cm from the incisors. The fourth constriction is where it pierces the diaphragm. And it is 37.5 cm from incisors. Okay. Now, the distance from the incisor teeth are important in passing instrument into the esophagus. For sake of convenience, the relationships of the esophagus may be studied in 3 parts: cervical, thoracic and abdominal. The relations of the cervical part are described and those of the abdominal part in the other books. Okay, now the surface marking. So the next heading is surface markings of esophagus. Surface markings of esophagus. The esophagus is marked by 2 parallel lines 2.5 cm apart by joining the following points. So what are the points we joined? 2 points 2.5 cm apart at the lower border of the cricoid cartilage across the median plane. So suppose this is the cricoid cartilage. we will take 2 points 2.5 centimeter apart. That is 2.5 centimeter apart below the cricoid cartilage across the median plane. Now 2 points 2.5 centimeter apart at the root of the neck, a little to the left of the median plane. Now suppose this is the root of the neck. This is the root of the neck. We will take 2 points a little bit to the left. 2 points we will take at a little bit to the left, and we will join these points. This is the esophagus. This is the esophagus passing. Next, 2 points 2.5 centimeter apart at the sternal angle across the median plane. Okay, so at the sternal angle, this is the root of the neck, and here is the sternal angle. We will take 2 points 2.5 centimeter apart at the sternal angle across the median plane. Because remember one thing, the esophagus is always posterior to the sternum. Okay, the esophagus is always posterior to the sternum, and we are taking 2 points at the sternal notch, at the sternal angle. Okay, and 2 points 2.5 centimeter apart at the left 7th costal cartilage. Left 7th costal cartilage in the left side. Here we will take the remaining 2 points. Left 7th costal cartilage. Okay, from the median plane. And this is the extent of the esophagus. This is the extent of the esophagus. Here is the cardia. Here is the cardia of the stomach. Okay, and here is the pharynx. Here is the pharynx. And this is the cardia of the stomach. Cardia of stomach. Okay, so what are the points we have taken? Below cricoid cartilage, then at the root of neck, then at the sternal angle, and then the 7th costal cartilage on the left side. Next, relations of the thoracic part of the esophagus. Now we are going to see the relations of thoracic esophagus. Relations of the thoracic esophagus. First, anteriorly. Anteriorly, what structures are anterior to the thoracic part of esophagus? Trachea, then right pulmonary artery, then left bronchus, then pericardium with left atrium, then is your diaphragm. Okay, next, posterior structures. Wait a second. Now the posterior structures. The posterior structures of thoracic esophagus are vertebral column, the right posterior intercostal artery, right posterior intercostal artery, then the thoracic duct, then is your, wait a second, azygous vein with the terminal part of the hemiazygous vein, along with terminal part of hemiazygous vein. Then is your thoracic aorta, and last, the right pleural recess. But one more structure is there, and that is the diaphragm. You can't forget the diaphragm. It extends in the anterior portion also, in the posterior portion also. Okay. Now to the right side. What all structures